Hello and welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast brought to you by Manscaped. It's an unplanned, impromptu Saturday edition of the Transfer Update Show. Hello and welcome back to the channel. As ever, I'm your host, Harry Symeou, and today we're going to be discussing this man you can see over my shoulder, Houssem Aouar has apparently agreed to join Arsenal. Now, we're going to just dissect the reports that have been coming out of France last night. Lots of Arsenal fans getting very, very excited on the social media platforms, on Twitter in particular. We're going to touch on the reports. I'm going to fill you in on what is allegedly going on, and then I'm going to give you a little bit more information about Houssem Aouar as well. Now, we know that this is a player Arsenal have been keeping their eyes on for quite some time. He, along with Thomas Partey, has said to be Arsenal's priority transfer targets during this window. Now, I am not for a second saying that this deal is done. Now, even if the reports that we have read and heard over the last sort of 24 hours are true, which claim that Houssem Aouar has agreed to join Arsenal from a personal perspective, that Arsenal have made a bid of 40 million euro, around about 36 million pounds. You know, that could be true, but it doesn't mean that the deal is done. It doesn't mean that Lyon are going to accept that, and we're going to have to probably, more than likely, I would say, go back with another improved offer. Given what we've heard, I'd be very surprised if they were to allow him to leave for just 40 million euros. However, the fact that the player supposedly wants to come to Arsenal, well, that might make a difference, because Houssem Aouar could perhaps begin to push and to force this move from his side of things as well. So we're going to have to wait and see. But just to quickly bring you guys up to speed, for those who haven't read the reports that were doing the rounds yesterday, and you'll know I don't normally do a transfer update show on a Saturday, but because of the significance of this news, I felt like it was worthwhile. But as I said, just to quickly round up, Arsenal have submitted a bid, an official bid this time, and it's been confirmed by a number of high-profile journalists, including Julien Laurent this time, who is someone I'm a big fan of. Julien Laurent says that Arsenal have offered £35 million, around about 40 million euros, for Houssem Aouar's services. The player wants to come to the club. The personal terms would not be an issue. And I've said that all along, haven't I? I've said throughout this transfer window that when it comes to taking players from France to the Premier League, personal terms aren't likely to be a problem. Arsenal have far superior finances to Lyon. The Premier League salaries are far superior to those of the French League, and so I'm not concerned at all by that. So I'm not surprised to hear that personal terms have been at least agreed in principle with Houssem Aouar. He wants to move to Arsenal, but now it's between the two clubs to thrash out a deal between now and the end of the transfer window. So it finally feels as if there is some actual movement on this one, although it's still not done. So I just advise caution on that. Don't get too carried away. There are a lot of things that could still go wrong. But Arsenal have gone in with an official bid, which is progress. Now, as I said already, I think we'll probably have to go back with an improved offer, but to at least see movement is a positive and something we should be excited about as Arsenal fans. Let's say a big hello to everybody joining us on the live stream. I know it's early on a Saturday morning, and a lot of you are probably still in bed. I haven't even had my coffee yet, but I felt like I needed to do this and get this out as soon as possible. Big hello to Chris TV. How are you, Harry? I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you? Iman says, if this deal is completed, that's going to be a madness. Sam Newcomb says, yes. Wayne says, morning. How you doing, mate? Morning to Omar. Morning to... Who else have we got here? Jay. Hope you're good, mate. Harry Symeou is apparently my name, according to Mafia Boss. How you doing, mate? Welcome. Wayne says, it will be a big signing if true. Yeah, it would be massive. And it's not just massive because of how much Houssem Aouar improves that midfield. Because for me, I've made no secret of the fact that if I could only have one of him or Thomas Partey, I would have probably slightly leaned towards Thomas Partey, and that is just because I feel like his physicality is a more urgent need for this Arsenal midfield. His defensive ability, his ability to win tackles, to get up and down the pitch. I feel like that athleticism is something we lack. So if I could only have had one, I would have probably gone with Thomas Partey. I'm not going to flip-flop now because it feels like we're getting closer to Houssem Aouar. But Atletico Madrid have made it very, very clear that when it comes to Thomas Partey, we have to trigger that release clause. And Arsenal, I don't know if it's because of his age, because he's that little bit older. I don't know. But Arsenal don't feel at this moment in time that Thomas Partey warrants 50 million euros. Suggests maybe that Mikel Arteta prefers Houssem Aouar and Arsenal are more willing to do a deal that way. Some of you think we're going to get both. I still don't think that's going to be the case. It would be amazing if it was, and I hope I'm wrong. But at this moment in time, I cannot see that happening. But Houssem Aouar, there appears to be movement with this one, and we've got to sort of get behind this and fingers crossed we get it over the line. But Wayne is absolutely right. It would be a huge sign-in, not just because of what he brings to the team, but because of the statement it sends to the rest of Europe. If Arsenal are able to go and get, despite being cash-strapped, despite struggling, despite having no Champions League football, if Arsenal were able to land one of European football's hottest talents, then that would tell the rest of the world that this Arsenal project is fucking serious. Arsenal are back. Mikel Arteta is turning this club around, and the fans and the players and even those looking on from outside like Houssem Aouar would be buying into this project, and that is a testament to the excellent job that the Spaniard has done in his short tenure as Arsenal manager so far. Good morning to Philip. Eunice says this agreement can be relied upon. I'm not sure what you mean there, mate. Do you mean as in the agreement with the player, or do you mean as in the report can be relied upon? Let me know, just clarify that. Let's see what else we've got here. Omar says, relax people, the clubs still have to agree on a fee. Yeah, they do. They do have to agree on a fee. And Arsenal are not going to go in there with the highest offer first time around, are they? But we're encouraged because the negotiations have officially begun. We're seeing figures actually being talked about now. We know that Arsenal contacted Lyon earlier on in the window. We know that Arsenal said to Lyon, would you be interested in a swap deal that includes Matteo Guendouzi? And that approach was rebuffed. It was rejected by Lyon. They're not interested in Matteo Guendouzi. Arsenal have gone back. Arsenal have thought about that. And Arsenal have launched the bid. Now, you've got to remember as well that we've been talking about a summer in which Arsenal desperately need to move on and sell players. And that's not happened yet. You know, with the exception of Martinez, you know, Torreira's still not gone. Guendouzi's still not gone. And I know there are two players that the club desperately want to move on, but neither of those have left the Emirates Stadium yet. Neither of those have left London Colney. And so for Arsenal to be doing this without those players having gone out the door, having already signed Gabriel for nearly 30 million euros, having already brought in Willian, having done a deal to bring Ceballos back, you can't sit here and say that they're not backing the manager. Now, if these deals don't happen, different story. We can look at it with a completely different outlook, and we can be upset, we can be annoyed, we can be frustrated. But at this moment in time, with Arsenal making moves and at least trying to get deals done, it feels like we're on the right track. Let's see what else we've got here. Jay says apparently it's 35 million euros, which is 32 million, but it seems a little low, doesn't it, Harry? They're saying they wanted around 55 million last week. So I've read two different reports. I've read one that says Arsenal have offered 35 million pounds, which is about 40 million euros. And I've had another one saying that Arsenal have offered 35 million euros. So you're right to raise that. There are contradicting reports on this, of course. You know, nobody, you'd like to think that nobody actually really knows the definite figure and whether that includes add-ons, and that's why we're seeing the difference. I don't know. But like I said, Arsenal are not going to go in with the jugular straight away, are they? Arsenal are going to try and get the best deal possible. Now, it's important to note that when these reports started doing the rounds, those who were bringing them to us were very clear that Arsenal are going to probably have to go back with a bigger offer. But this is the start of the negotiation. This is the start of the process, and so we should take some encouragement from that, because a couple of days ago there was nothing was happening. There was no movement whatsoever. Let's see what else we've got in here. Big hello to Ryan, big hello to Edward, to Jonas, to Owen. What else have we got here? Aditya Jane says, like or hell awaits you. Hell doesn't await you just for not liking the video, but please do smash the like button. It is so important to the channel. We've seen incredible growth over the last couple of months, and that's been because you guys have been liking the videos, commenting on them, getting involved. So thank you guys so much for your support. But yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hoping to get to 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible, hopefully by the end of the year. So yeah, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Sanjay Joseph says, if Aouar comes, he will replace Laka so that Oba plays centre, or is he going to midfield? I think he goes into the midfield. I don't see Houssem Aouar coming in as playing as this false number 9. It's not a role he plays. And why would you... the whole point is to strengthen our midfield. So if you're bringing him in as a false 9, I'd argue there are probably better candidates out there for that particular position. So yeah, I think it very much is a deal that would bring Houssem Aouar in to play in the middle of the park, add that little bit of creativity, probably give us a little bit more flexibility in terms of the formation we can play, because we know that Mikel Arteta doesn't want necessarily a traditional number 10. Houssem Aouar is not a number 10. It's probably more of a number 8. In the sense of he will drop deep, he will get forward, he will do a bit of everything. He's a box-to-box, all-action midfield player. And yeah, I think that gives us the ability to probably play with a 3 in midfield without losing that extra body in the middle of the park when we're asked to get behind the ball and defend and hold shape. So yeah, I think he'd be a great addition. But I cannot see him coming into play as a false 9. For me, it would be as a central midfield player. It enhances Mikel Arteta's options. It gives him the ability to switch the formation up a little bit as well. And I think flexibility, as we've seen, is something that is very important to Mikel Arteta at this moment in time. According to Joe Lucas, according to ESPN, Lyon have lowered their asking price to 36 to 41 million pounds. So that could well be the case. We know, as I said, I still expect Arsenal to have to go in with another bid, a bigger bid. But it is progress, as I've said. So fingers crossed we see some further movement in the coming days. Jay says, Harry, just ordered your book last night. Looking forward to reading it. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. I am not exactly a wordsmith, so and I wrote it a couple of years ago now. I wasn't as decent at writing as I am now that I do it full time as my job. So yeah, you'll have to bear with me, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Hopefully it captures the raw emotions of what was a very difficult season as an Arsenal fan. AKA Moe says, good day to all the Arsenal fans. Good day to all the Gooners. Love from Australia. I'm a Gooner fan, says Romano has confirmed the personal terms. Yep, that's right. Fabrizio Romano, who seems to be the transfer window king, has confirmed that. Guns and Yellow Ribbons, another Arsenal podcast. Check them out. Fergus says £34 million bid was rejected. Yeah, I think we all knew, as I've been saying throughout this stream, that we're going to have to go back with a bigger offer. We haven't heard sort of officially from Lyon or from anyone about whether it's actually physically been rebuffed or not. But we know that Lyon want more than that. And we know that Lyon are going to make us cough up more than that. And as I've said all along, this is Arsenal's first bid. So don't be disheartened by the fact that this bid has been rejected. It was always going to be rejected, wasn't it? If it indeed has been rejected. Lyon are going to push back. Lyon want the maximum for who is undoubtedly a very, very talented player. And you can't blame them for that. Matt Gray says, Aouar is a generational talent and this signing would be a game changer. Yeah, it would. as I said, it would be a huge statement from the club, and fingers crossed we get this deal over the line and we get him in an Arsenal shirt. Right, just going to pause the live comments there to bring you guys a little bit of information about Houssem Aouar and the season that he had last season. Now, I know the French league is only, a couple of games in so far, so it's not worth really looking at it sort of, looking at this season, I should say. I don't think that is necessarily worthwhile, given that we've just seen he's played one game as a starter and come on in one as a sub. So I wouldn't really focus in on that too much. But 2019-2020 season, French League, and he made 25 appearances in total. And you're probably wondering why it was just 25. Of course, the French League stopped early due to the coronavirus pandemic, and it never continued. It was just decided that it would finish. The championship was awarded to PSG, etc. And that's why the appearances, the number of appearances, is a little bit lower than some people might expect. In terms of goals, not the biggest goal scorer, Houssem Aouar produced 3 during the French Ligue 1 campaign in 2019-2020. Provided 4 assists, managed to get himself 3 yellow cards. Shots per game averaged about 1.8. Pass success rate 85.7%. And he was named man of the match once. But perhaps the most significant thing of this, and I'm going by WhoScored.com's information here, is that his average performance rating over the course of the season was 7.02 out of 10, which suggests that Houssem Aouar performed at a very consistently good level throughout the course of the season. So not only did he perform to a high level from time to time, the fact that the average rating, which is of course calculated by taking all the fixtures into account, was above 7, to me suggests that he is a very consistent performer and somebody that can be relied upon to deliver at the highest level. So someone I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing in an Arsenal shirt. What are Houssem Aouar's characteristics? Now, again, going by WhoScored's information, his strengths lie in his ability to pass, to dribble, to hold on to the ball. He likes to lay the ball off. He likes to dribble. He gets fouled often, likes to play short passes, doesn't really dive into tackles, but some of his weaknesses are in the defensive side of the game. His defensive contribution, tackling, those are the things that WhoScored.com list as Houssem Aouar's weaknesses. Now, you shouldn't always go by that. It shouldn't be sort of seen as gospel, but it gives you an idea for those that haven't watched a great deal of Houssem Aouar. And I've seen him in the Champions League on a few occasions. I've seen countless highlights reels since we've been linked with the player, but I'm not a regular watcher of the French top flight. So I couldn't sit here and make shit up. That's why or come up with my own conclusions completely, which is why I've sourced this information and these statistics for you guys. Let's go back over to the live chat. Let's see what we got here. Norwegian Gooner says that this was a bit too early. Harry, good morning. Sorry, mate. It is early, but when you've got a 1.5-year-old, you end up getting up early because there's no such thing as a lay-in anymore. And I've got a busy day again, so I wanted to get this done as soon as possible. But thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I know it's early, but guys, these are available on playback as well. So if the time doesn't suit you, I completely understand. But it's great to have you here live and interacting. Anton says, big up Harry. In my honest opinion, Aouar won't be enough for us to achieve top 4. That's a fair opinion. It's a lot of people would say, oh, you're being negative. No, not me, because I think that Arsenal do still need a lot of work in terms of, producing or finding that balance between attack and defense. We've seen defensive improvement. We've seen a little bit of a drop off going the other way. That's only natural. That's understandable. The top 4 is going to be very tough this year. It's going to be very competitive. We expect Spurs to be better than they were last season under Mourinho, as much as I can't stand him. We expect United to be there or thereabouts despite a kind of dodgy start to the season. We expect Chelsea to be up there. Liverpool, Man City, well, we know how strong they are. So regardless of whether we got Houssem Aouar or not. Of course, Houssem Aouar improves us, but you know, it's still going to be a tall order. It's still going to be a difficult task. Let's not forget that Arsenal finished 8th last season, and that is a big gap to make up. We're talking about Arsenal improving by 4 positions. And I know Mikel Arteta wasn't in charge for the whole campaign, and the damage was arguably done before he even came in. But you know, you've got to be realistic about where we were and the journey that we need to go on to get to where we need to be. And that journey is a longer journey, I think, than some people would have you believe. But we've obviously got that Europa League route as well. And given our performances in the cup competitions of late, you've got to be confident that Mikel Arteta's Arsenal can go a long way in that. Fingers crossed they can. And that is an alternative route into getting in the Champions League. Look, if you told me we're going to finish 5th or 6th and win the Europa League, but that gets us in the Champions League, I'll take it. And we get a European trophy for our troubles. So that is another potential way of Arsenal achieving their primary objective this season, which is to get back in the big time, to get back in the Champions League. Big hello to Andy McDonald. He says, Harry, my bro, greetings from New Zealand, up the Gooners. Greetings, mate. How you doing? Hope you're all good. Hope you guys are staying safe over there. Completely on the other side of the world. Amazing to see that people are tuned in from as far as New Zealand. So thank you guys, and thank you, Andy, in particular. Matthew Simpson says, if we sign Aouar, reckon we will go back to a 4-3-3, or do you see him being a Ceballos replacement or cover in a 3-4-3? So hard to say. It's so hard to say because this system at the moment is working for Mikel Arteta. So I feel like he'd be reluctant to change it unless he was 100% convinced that the players he has at his disposal would now be better suited to that formation. And I don't think one signing will necessarily be enough to convince him to change everything and essentially undo all the fantastic work that he's done so far in terms of making us more defensively solid, in terms of making us more disciplined, in terms of drilling this formation, this system into the players so that they understand exactly what it is they need to do. So yeah, I'm not sure that he will uproot everything. You know, let's be honest. I know Houssem Aouar is a quality footballer, but if he does come in, he's gonna need some time to adapt as well. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens. Few of you tuned in from New Zealand at the moment, which is amazing. Anthony, another one. Big hello from New Zealand, Harry. Cheers for all the content. Thank you so much, mate. Really, really appreciate it. What else have we got here? So many comments, so many questions. Love it. Graham on the book. It's a great book, Harry. Thank you, Graham. Really, really appreciate it, mate. And appreciate your constant support. I really, really do. Let's go through the comments a little bit more. Going to try to find some from some people's questions I haven't picked up yet. And just because I want to try and cover as many people as I can. Chris TV says, Aulas just said we're too far away from the evaluation. Yeah, I think we know that. I think, you know, we know that Lyon are going to want more than what the initial offer was. It's understandable. But let's be honest as well. Aulas is a prick. He's notorious for being difficult to deal with. He's notorious for being extremely difficult in the transfer market. He's notorious for talking a lot in the media, which is all designed to drive up the player's price. The fact is that if Arsenal get closer, and I'm not going to say meet the valuation, because essentially Lyon's valuation will be overinflated, as will be below, and the deal will be done somewhere in the middle. So if Arsenal get closer to Lyon's valuation for Houssem Aouar, and Houssem Aouar kicks up a stink, I think Lyon will back down. They're not a powerful football club in terms of their finances. I'm not going to... Actually, that's probably the wrong thing. I'm not going to say they're not a powerful football club, but they're not as powerful as Arsenal Football Club and the Premier League. The lure of the Premier League, I believe, is what will drive Houssem Aouar to essentially push for this transfer. He may not be doing it publicly, and that is great, because they're a club who've given him essentially everything. Why would he? But I'm sure behind the scenes, Houssem Aouar and his representatives will be pushing for this move and pushing harder the closer Arsenal get to that valuation. So ignore what Aulas says. He is doing it to try and drive up the price. He is saying the things he is saying in a hope that someone else will come along and match that valuation of his, someone with a bit more spending power. So the guy is, I wouldn't pay too much attention to what it is that he says. I can see some of you guys are saying that he's tweeted something. Let's have a quick look. Because he has tweeted something 15 minutes ago. It is in French. Let's see if we can translate it, because unfortunately my French isn't good. Let me just share my screen with you guys for those of you joining us a little bit later. And for those of you who haven't seen the tweet, here it is. Bear with me a second, just bringing that up on the screen for you guys. Right, here it is. Jean-Michel Aulas. Houssem Aouar in agreement with Arsenal. There will be very few starts for Houssem Aouar. What? The translation isn't great. But for Houssem Aouar, Arsenal is too far from his value. We are counting on him to play a great match in Lorient and lead Olympique Lyonnais into the CL next year. So he's basically saying that Arsenal are too far from his value, the value that Lyon see him at, obviously. And they are counting on him still to play against Lorient and to lead them into the Champions League. So Jean-Michel Aulas doing what Jean-Michel Aulas does, and that is talk too much in the media. So I wouldn't worry about that. But yeah, he's just making it clear, isn't he? He's just making the point that he wants everybody to know that Arsenal haven't met that valuation yet. He wants everybody to know that Arsenal value him, that Lyon value him at higher than what Arsenal have bid so far. But that doesn't mean a deal's not going to be done. And as I said, if the player starts to push for it as well, then you could well see Lyon's stance soften, despite this geezer's desire to go and tweet things. I just think as a club president, you're tweeting stuff about your players moving, and I just think it's stupid, classless if you ask me. But there you go. Let's see what else we've got here. RI says, hey Harry, we really need a while to hit the ground running in the Prem. Yep, I think we all agree with that, mate. Great point. QHO says, hearing also Aulas is looking for 50 million euros. I'm sure he is. Doesn't mean he's going to get it though. And as I said, it is, as I've been saying throughout this stream, it is early in the negotiations, in the actual negotiations. It is the first bid, so I expect that to go up. So don't worry. I think you'll see further movement on this. QHO says, love your podcast also, Harry. Love your Adrian podcast from Melbourne, Australia. Adrian Clark is back with me on Tuesday night. We will be reflecting on the game against Liverpool on Monday night, and Adrian Clark will be joining me again. Delighted to say that Adrian Clark is happy to come on the podcast regularly, which is amazing. So every couple of weeks or so, we'll be getting Adrian on to have a chat, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying them. And thank you for your support so far, because the viewing figures and the listening figures on those have been incredible. So thank you. Let's see what else we've got here. Pick up a couple more. Comments. Here we go. Govarthana says, people who judge midfielders from the number of his goals and assists per season are the people who'd argue that Thiago Alcantara is shit. Utter nonsense, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it is a little bit harsh to solely judge a midfielder on his goals and assists. We speak about Aouar all the time and what he does, and we talk about the fact that he does get up and down the pitch quite a bit. But there are players who create from deep or from deeper. And in that case, for example, Dani Ceballos, he does his job from a lot deeper than a lot of midfield players. Doesn't score many goals, doesn't get many assists. but that doesn't mean he's a bad player. Some players just have different roles. Some players just do different things. Some players have different sort of characteristics. And you're right to say that we shouldn't solely judge midfielders on their goals and assist output, but obviously it is nice to get a midfielder in who has those things to his game as well. JM Noroge says, big up Harry, watching from Dubai. Thank you, mate. Hope you're good. Ray Anderson says, I'm still not believing anything until I see him in an Arsenal shirt on the official website, though I think we are getting at least one of them. Yeah, I've been saying that all along. I think we'll end up with one of them. It feels to me like, given there's sort of, well, Atletico are not budging at the minute on Thomas Partey's release clause, I feel like Arsenal probably look at Houssem Aouar and feel like that is a more worthwhile longer term investment, and that's why they're probably willing to go that little bit further with the price for him rather than Thomas Partey. Right, that brings us towards the end of this transfer update show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Spam the chat now with your comments. I want to know where you guys are tuned in from on this Saturday morning. Where are you joining us from in the world? And I'll give you guys a shout as well. Let's have a quick look at how many of you are watching us at the minute. So let me know in the chat where you're watching us from while I quickly check in on our YouTube page. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget. Just 74 likes though, guys. Come on. There is over 350 of you watching us on the platform at the moment. So please do smash that like button. It is so important. Right, let's have a quick look. Where are you guys joining us from? Carrie's joining us from Finland. Klenka is joining us from Mauritius. Oliver, Nairobi, Kenya. Chris from Peckham. Zanzibar from Omar. Joe Lucas is in Switzerland. Ray's in Jamaica. Edwards in Coventry. Rosbert is in the Philippines. And Brad is in York. He says, unfortunately, at work. Don't worry, mate. I've got to work today. I've got to work tomorrow as well. Is what it is. Jorgen is watching us from Norway. Humphrey is joining us from Doha. Owen from Cape Town. Chris is in Stourbridge, West Midlands. Another guy, Doc Marshall's in Peckham. Nairobi, Kenya. Philippines. Dunedin, New Zealand. Lots of New Zealanders today. Loving that. Great stuff. Cape Verde, Africa. Ghana. Fantastic. A few of you from Ghana actually as well. Loving it. Also want to say a massive thank you guys as well, because as you may have seen on Twitter, I've got a new job. Well, one of my jobs. So I will be commentating for an American radio station, VSiN, betting sports station, where they broadcast. They've recently got the rights to broadcast Premier League games, one a week, and they'll be bringing you live betting tips in play, but also a full Premier League commentary. And they've hired me as their commentator, so I'm absolutely delighted to be doing that. And I'm kicking it off tomorrow. My first game is Tottenham versus Newcastle. I'm sure you all know what result I'll be hoping for, but really looking forward to doing that. And it's because of you guys' support with the channel and the opportunities that this channel and the podcast have given me over the last few years that I'm able to do something like that, which is, I always wanted to be a commentator since I was a kid. So really buzzing about that and really looking forward to that. And thank you to those who wish me well on Twitter when I announced it, and to those of you wishing me well in the chat now. Really thankful. Let's go back to a couple more of you. Let's find out where you guys are joining us from. Dublin. Steve is from Croydon in Surrey. Do you know what, Steve? I was born in Thornton Heath, which is down the road from you. I used to spend a lot of time in Croydon, in those neck of the woods. So thank you for watching, and it's good to see a fellow Croydon guy in the chat. Let's see what else we've got here. Aishwari is joining us from India. Doc Marshall says, love your material, bro. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, mate. What else have we got? Pakistan, Indonesia. Amazing. amazing. It's great to see um, that people are tuning in from all over the place. Love it. Thank you guys so much. That's all we've got time for today. Wait, I've got to address this one. I got to address this one. Graham, why are you not a Palace fan then? I ain't a Palace fan because my dad is from Islington and was a massive Gooner. Is a massive Gooner, arguably a bigger Gooner than me, and um, I had no choice. I had no choice who I supported. I was brainwashed, and I moved to North London when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I guess that's when you properly start to go into football and stuff. So, yeah, yeah, that's why. All my friends at school at the time were Crystal Palace fans, and I did get down to Selhurst Park now and again. And I've got to be honest, when they're not playing Arsenal, I do want Crystal Palace to do well. They're a team I've got a soft spot for. I have because of that. But I'm fully a Gooner. I had no choice, but I'm glad I had no choice because it's worked out all right in the end. Right, cheers, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. We'll be back very, very soon with more. Until then, take care, enjoy your weekends, and stay safe.